Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a consumer finance firm ranks the Phoenix market as one of the best in the country. Also tonight, hear about Tempe's plans for a biomedical campus at Town Lake, and we'll discuss concerns regarding development at the Grand Canyon. That's next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. A state lawmaker accused of fraudulently obtaining over $1,700 worth of food stamps has reached a plea agreement. The Arizona Capital Times reports that Representative Cece Velasquez will plead guilty to a single misdemeanor charge. Velasquez was indicted in May on 3 felony counts of fraud, theft, and unlawful use of food stamps. After the indictments, Velasquez, a Democrat, announced that she was not running for re-election. A new report shows that Phoenix trails only Portland as the best big city market in the country for homeowners. Joining us now to talk about the report and the Phoenix housing market in general is Arizona Republic real estate reporter Catherine Rieger. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
For years we had you here when things were just in the turlet. They're not in the turlet anymore, are they?
It was tough. The boom happened so fast, the bust happened so fast, but the recovery has been slow and steady.
All right. Before we get started, new study by Bankrate.com. What is Bankrate.com?
It has been around for 20 years. It's a consumer finance group. They do mortgage rates. They do all kinds of ratings. And the person who started the study is a former journalist. They looked at it like a journalist. They're like, what are the best indicators to look at to really rank housing markets? And
Phoenix ranked second, only behind Portland, just in general for homeowners.
For homeowners, yes, because it's to own a home here. These are the best markets to own a home. And it's based on rents climbing, so you don't have to hedge rents. It's based on appreciation, foreclosures, but interesting things like low maintenance cost. What are your energy costs? The one we didn't rank so well on.
Yes.
Insurance costs, property insurance costs were low. Property taxes were low because we don't have hurricanes for insurance. So we ranked well on those as well.
Appreciation, I thought, was interesting. Home prices had pretty much doubled since the bottom mark there in like 2011 or so.
Yeah, well, we hit a median price of $115 in 2011, and we're about $240.
I know goodness.
It's painful to think about it.
But we're now the appreciation is above average now.
Yes, we are. Appreciation, we've gone back to, during the boom, it was like 35, 50% a year, which was crazy and unsustainable. We are back to our slightly above average of anywhere from 8 to 11%, which is really nice and healthy. And there are markets in the Midwest that would love to have that.
Now, as far as the property tax is concerned, low property taxes, but in terms of just being a homeowner, who in the world can calculate what the convoluted tax system says about you?
Oh, absolutely. And property taxes come out again next week, so we'll see what they say and if they stay low. But yes, we have lower than average rates. I think we are the 18th lowest in the country now. We used to be a little bit lower, but we've had some shifts there. So we'll see that, and everybody will get their bill soon, and so we'll know. But up a little bit, but still in the second half, low.
Foreclosure rates down, and down by a lot, huh?
Yes. I thought about this when I was writing this because I was critically looking at each before we just jump in and go, woohoo, we're number 2. It's like, really, are we? But foreclosure rates we've been tracking month to month. We had 5,000 a month during 2009 through 2011. We're down to under 300. And part of that, again, we've talked over the years, those investors that came in and bought those homes and helped pull Metro Phoenix out of the recession and the bust faster than other markets. We ranked higher than Las Vegas, Riverside, Orlando, all those other boom and bust markets in those other cities, and partly because our foreclosure rate.
And partly because investors swooped in and did what investors do. Are they still doing what investors? Are they starting to turn around and sell these things, or are they holding them?
They are. We're starting to see some turn around and sell because they can make a nice profit. And Canadians who bought during the crash too are selling. And at first I think, we're going to have these people selling, but those are the homes we need on the market. Those are the homes priced below $500,000, hopefully in the $250,000 to $300,000 range. Many of them bought them for $50,000 and $60,000. where the first-time home buyer or the boomerang buyer who lost a house to foreclosure can afford. So we need those homes back on the market.
You know, last time we had Mike Orr from the Cromford Report on, he was talking about how that under, like, I don't know, 150, 250, whatever it was, that the lower end of the home scale, that it is impossible to find anything.
It is, and that's also why we don't have the investors or to flip. You know, other parts of the country are seeing big flips. We have so few foreclosures and so few affordable, lower-priced homes. There aren't those kind of deals. So if some of these investors who bought at the bottom now sell for a profit, so they've done well, they helped our market, and the first-time buyers and the boomerang buyers can buy, that's a good thing.
With appreciation as it is, though, is there not a chance for some investors to say, well, if you know it's X right now, it could be X squared next year. I think we're going to start investing. I mean, are we seeing some of that?
Not a lot. We may see it in the luxury market because we're seeing some dips in prices on that end because we have a lot of million-dollar homes on the market. But otherwise, you know, there's no projections that we can see. We have nice steady employment growth and job growth. And population growth. Everybody would like it to be more, but nice and steady, but we don't see a forecast for 25% turnaround or 30%. So if you bought now, you need to hold on for a few years, I think.
Is the rising tide lifting all boats, or are some boats getting a little higher than others?
Boats in really coveted neighborhoods are getting higher than others. Tempe, I know you live, and we talked about that, doing well. Central Phoenix, Central Scottsdale, and part of that is because not only our millennials, but also our empty nesters want to be in those areas and want to be closer in. So we're really seeing neighborhoods. The neighborhood in Central Phoenix along 7th Street where the Yard is,
yes,
they saw home prices climb 50% last year.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, they got all the amenities in the world. You could go to a different restaurant for the full year, it seems, over in that area.
Yes. And you're not that far from light rail, and the median price was lower than in North Central. It was a neighborhood where you could still find some bargains.
Last question. Bottom line for all of this, according to Bankrate.com, Phoenix, the 8th most affordable city in the country. And the energy costs are really what knock us down a few rounds.
Yes, actually, and our rising apartment rents knocked us down as well. And an outside source shows that we are the 8th most affordable metro areas, and we hold steady there. And that is a big calling card, we know, for Metro Phoenix, for companies. We're drawing all these tech companies from the Silicon Valley because we're affordable.
All right, very good. Real quickly, what's that website you got going over there?
StreetScout.com. You can check out your valuation, check out your neighborhood, and you can check out the median home price in your neighborhood in the biggest sale.
StreetScout.com.
Yes.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Technology and Innovation focuses on Tempe's plans for a biomedical campus at Town Lake. This amid a recent increase in the number of technology jobs in Tempe. Joining us now is Tempe Mayor Mark Mitchell. Good to see you again, Mayor.
Good to see you, Ted. Thank you.
Got a lot going on here, moving
do.
forward with a new biomed campus. Talk to us about this.
Well, we're looking at a biomedical tech campus right just west of the Tempe Center for the Arts. It's going to be located on 18 acres. We're looking to have 5 8-story buildings, roughly 1 million square feet.
And now we're talking west of the Tempe Center for the Arts, so just beyond the parking area then?
Just beyond the parking area, right before you hit Priest Road. It's a great redevelopment site for us. It's really close proximity to the downtown, to light rail, easy access to the airport. It's a phenomenal location for tech companies as well as life sciences.
So what we're looking at now is we're kind of looking west here with the Tempe Center of the Arts at the south side of the lake, south side, yeah, and this new development will be right there. That's a big development. How does that compare to State Farm?
Well, it's about 1 million square feet built out. State Farm is roughly 2 million square feet.
Okay.
So it's about half the size, but what's really interesting is the innovative and the innovation of the companies that could be located there regarding life sciences as well as technology is really going to help us as we continue to grow our tech community in Tempe.
Phase project, up to 5 billion, buildings, I should say, and up to 1 million square feet, you said?
That's correct.
All right, restaurant included?
There's going to be some restaurant space, and there's going to be some space to have some rehearsals that's going to complement the Tempe Center for the Arts. So it's really going to be a really truly innovative center, from the arts to medical and technical companies. So it's going to be exciting to have that type of project there.
So arts-related spaces in conjunction somehow with the Tempe Center for the Arts?
Yeah, you can never have enough space. So this is how we're innovative in our community at Tempe. So we're looking at expanding some of the art space at the Tempe Center for the Arts, and having this building go up right next to the Tempe Center for the Arts kind of makes sense to have some space available with some other groups that would like to come in.
Now, when we looked at that graphic of the building itself, and right there along Rio Salado Parkway, which is, last I checked, a relatively narrow, 1 to 2 lane, whatever it is these days. Is it still 1 lane each direction, or is it 2 lanes?
No, it's 2 lanes.
2 lanes, okay. You can expand that? That's going to be a lot of traffic down there.
It is, but with the addition of the neighborhood orbit circulator, as well as the future of the streetcar, it's going to really help alleviate some of that congestion in and around the downtown. Plus, we're having the Bike It program, which is our bike rental program where you can rent and lease bikes back and forth. The bike share program.
Because you got a couple of parking structures got to go in there too, don't they? I mean,
they're going to have some parking. We're going to have some parking. We have to, but it's at the end of the day, Tempe is known as a truly multimodal community. So with the combination with the streetcar, with the Bike It program, with the orbit circulator, I think it's easy to get in around our community.
Okay, what's the timeline for this? What are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking completion by 2026, in about a year and a half to 2 years, we're going to get under construction. We're still formalizing our agreement with Boyer, which is the company that we selected was the winner in the RFP.
Relationship with ASU at all? I imagine something's got to be related.
There's going to be a great relationship and tie with ASU and the Biodesign Institute, as well as everything that happens with ASU. We partner with them so well on so many different fronts. And this is just to continue that partnership with, Tempe is known as a knowledge community, and our economy in Tempe is really the knowledge economy. And having ASU as the #1 innovative university in the country really helps brand Tempe and helps attract those types of companies to our community.
I want to get to the knowledge economy aspect in a second here, but you mentioned that I called it a trolley. What is it again?
It's a streetcar.
Streetcar, sorry. The streetcar, is it going to go all the way out there, or is it going to stop?
No, it's going along Mill and Ash on Rio Salado. Eventually, in the future projects, you could have some future phase projects out. We're looking really going to the east towards Mesa, with the Wrigleyville West that we refer to, and maybe potentially eventually we could go out west.
Okay, so and Marketplace too has got to be included in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
Good gracious, that place is just a madhouse at all times.
If you were to said today, that would be turned in from a salvage yard into a revenue-producing entertainment district. I think people wouldn't really realize that.
I remember some of the places that were there, and that's where it was a lot of fun, but it wasn't necessarily what it is now. Okay, you mentioned the knowledge economy. Lots of new jobs in Tempe the past year or so. Talk to us about that.
Well, just alone, with tech-related companies that have come to Tempe, Willis Towers Watson's, onto entertainment partners, all tech companies. Within the last year alone, we have added 2,000 tech-related jobs. In total over Tempe, we have about 15,000 tech-related jobs in Tempe. We're one of the largest concentration of tech-related companies anywhere in the valley in the state is right here in Tempe, Arizona. I think a lot of that is attributed to the investment that we've made as a city to attract these types of companies. Companies are looking for great entertainment value, but more importantly, quality of life for their employees. And that really fits the bill at Tempe. I mean, how often can you go kayak on the lake at lunchtime and go back to your office? Or take a light rail, go see a Broadway show, or look at all the entertainment and have a great restaurant dining experience in along Mill Avenue. So there's so many different options for residents as well as employees.
What kind of jobs are these, though? I mean, is it more than, I mean, a job is a job. You could have a guy in a janitor's suit babysitting a bunch of machines. I mean, what kind of tech jobs are we talking about here?
Well, the tech jobs, roughly, the average salary for some of the tech jobs that we've been receiving here in Tempe is about $80,000 annually. So those are pretty decent size paying jobs, which really help fit to maintain the quality of life in our community. What also is interesting is having that type of company with tech related and the concentration of all the other companies will help elevate the region and partnering, attracting more tech-related companies to the Phoenix region market. I think it's exciting.
Talk about that regional aspect, because we have Chandler folks in here all the time, and Chandler's done a very nice job of attracting the corridor down there, the Price Road corridor, and the whole 9 yards. Is this symbiotic, or is this
No, it's very symbiotic. We all feed off of each other. What's good for Tempe is good for Chandler and vice versa. If it's good for Chandler, it'll be good for Tempe and Mesa and Phoenix and Scottsdale. We all work well together as all the mayors do, but more importantly, we realize the importance of having a concentration of tech-related companies here for companies to pull from, it really helps sets and elevates the bar. I mean, we're competing with cities in competition like the Austins, the Salt Lakes, the Denvers, and we're winning out, whether it's be in Tempe, Chandler, Phoenix, or Scottsdale, and Mesa. We're getting some of these companies. And just recently, Goodyear was announced of a 300-job manufacturing plant going to Goodyear.
Yes.
So by working together with all my colleagues around the region, it really is symbolic of the relationship that we have to grow.
Yes, but Tempe is the only place with a fashion hub. What is
do.
that?
We have a fashion hub in the old Tempe Performing Center for the Arts. It's called our TPAC building. You know, it's going to be a great process. It's opening up. It's about 20,000 square feet. You know, we could have the next Ralph Lauren or Vera Wang coming right out of Tempe, along with the music scene. So it's really exciting. Kind of fits Tempe's cachet, if you will.
So basically what, you go down there with an idea, I got an idea for a great sport jacket, and what?
It could be the Ted Simon sports jacket.
Sure.
You could have your own label.
Unbelievable.
Why not? Or even a tie.
Even a tie, yes. Even I could do that. But so I go down there, I say, I got an idea for a tie. What, a bunch of people help me put it together?
Yes, that's the whole idea of the Fashion Hub here in Tempe. It's an idea where you can bring an idea, a concept to life to help you with the manufacturing, the production, putting a business plan together, using some of the resources. You have some co-working space in there, and you have experts in the fashion industry that can help those starting out entrepreneurs.
And that's going to be located where?
It's right just east of City Hall in the Tempe Performing Arts Center, the old TPAC building, which is right next to City Hall, literally just due east of City Hall.
Due east of City Hall. Due east or west?
Myrtle and 6th, I believe.
I think, isn't that west?
No, it's east.
Is it east? I don't know my ups and downs. I should go back to tie designing. That's where my success
Well,
always
my
lies.
next jacket could say Ted Simons in the
It sure
middle.
could. Mayor, good to see you. Thanks
Good
for
to
joining
see you.
us.
Thank you.
The September 2016 edition of National Geographic contains a piece by writer Kevin Fedarko and photographer Pete McBride, which chronicles their 650-mile trek through the Grand Canyon. The article focuses not only on the journey, but how development is impacting the area. Kevin Fedarko joined us to talk about his experiences at the Grand Canyon. Thanks for joining us on Arizona Horizon.
Glad to be here.
All right, 650-mile trek through the Grand Canyon. I know you're doing it in stages. That's a long way to hike. It's beautiful, arduous. Why are you doing this? Why'd you do this?
We did it, myself and my photographer, Pete McBride from National Geographic, as a way of showcasing, exploring, and giving exposure to a number of very serious threats that are poised to do irreparable harm to the integrity of the Grand Canyon and the crown jewel of America's national park system.
Most serious threat?
I would probably say right now the most immediate serious threat is a tramway that the Navajo Nation, in conjunction with a group of developers from here in Phoenix, are intent on putting in on the east rim of the Grand Canyon. This is a project that will be capable of delivering up to 10,000 people per day to the bottom of the Grand Canyon at an area known as the Confluence, where the Little Colorado River, primary tributary of the Colorado inside the Grand Canyon, meets and merges with the main stem Colorado River.
And right now, that area, that confluence, how many people are actually down there?
On any given day, it's very rare to see more than a few dozen people, and in winter, even less. So the impact of something like this, and we're talking not only about a tramway, but a set of raised metal walkways that will lead along the river to a food emporium. This level of visitation is extraordinary. To give you an idea, there are about 26,000 people who go down the Colorado River each and every year through the Grand Canyon. This tramway will deliver that quota within 2.5 days.
My goodness. Now, but the tribe up there likes this idea. What's going on?
The tribe is divided. A number of the tribal officials have partnered with the developers, but there is serious and fierce opposition, particularly in the communities that are going to be directly impacted by this development. They consider the area sacred, and I should mention as well that a number of other tribes in the region, the Zuni and the Hopi, feel the same way about this particular section of the canyon, the confluence.
So we got this tramway idea. I know the increased helicopter flights in other parts of the canyon. There are proposed uranium mines that always seem to be a factor up there. You and your photographer, you decide to hike, not raft, not float, hike the entire length of the canyon. To do what? To show people what's there and remind them what's at stake?
I think we were trying to do two things. First, to gauge some of the treasures that the canyon contains that aren't really known or accessible to people who view it from the rim or float through it along the river. The only way to really get a sense of this extraordinary wilderness inside the Grand Canyon that begins at the edges of the Colorado River and rises to the rims of the canyon on either side is to walk through it. And there are very few people that do it. There's no trail leading from Lee's Ferry to the Grand Wash Cliffs, the length of the Grand Canyon. So most of it is bushwhacking and route finding along this austere and beautiful world of cliffs and ledges between the river and the rims.
And I know you and your photographer have gone in stages. It's not even done yet. You're not even finished, are you?
We're not finished. We started in September, late September of last year, and we'll be going back in mid-October of this year in the hopes of completing the final segment, which, if we're lucky, will take us through the Grand Wash Cliffs.
Wow. There have been some folks, though, who have made the entire trip in one fell swoop. Is it true that fewer people have done that than have walked on the moon?
When we started last year, there were. Now, there are a couple of people who have completed that since then, but that gives you an idea of just how rare it is to make a trip like this. And one of the great paradoxes is this is one of the most popular and best known national parks, but it is filled with mystery and unknown secrets. And that, I think, is one of the things that makes the Grand Canyon so extraordinary.
And that is one of the things that could be at stake, again, if a tramway is built there and you have thousands of folks climbing, going here and there, correct?
It's correct. I mean, the Grand Canyon National Park is literally ringed with development threats from every cardinal point of the compass right now. And its status as a landscape which is capable of inducing a feeling of humility in everyone who moves through it or gazes upon it is endangered by these developments.
And talk to me about what you felt going through there. Humility, the idea of man's place on earth and in the world. Did all these spiritual kind of thoughts come flooding through? I mean, that's a long walk. That's a lot of time to think.
It is, and they do, but those spiritual moments, I think, are interspersed with what I would characterize as an uninterrupted river of pain and discomfort that you experience when you have 50 pounds on your back, when you're climbing and scrambling and clawing your way along cliffs and ledges and through brush. And so it's this odd juxtaposition between a physically brutal experience and something that can be very deep and meaningful on a spiritual level.
But I would imagine that brutal experience, the effort that it takes to do what you're trying to do and what you are doing, that adds to that spiritual, I would think. I mean, there's an effect there when I mean, the endorphins must be flooding at times.
Yeah, that's such a great point, and it gets back to this notion of humility, right? It's impossible to move through this landscape where we don't belong as human beings, where we are not able to move through it with ease. It's impossible to move through that, spend time in it, and not have your perspective radically reoriented. Your perspective as a human being and your sense of where we belong. Our place on this earth is very small and very insignificant, and that is one of the central messages that the Grand Canyon has to deliver.
As far as these projects are concerned, let's stick with the tramway here. How far along is this? What's the state of this thing?
The tramway is poised to move forward in a very significant manner. There is a bill that has been introduced before the Navajo legislature, and the Navajo legislature is expected to vote on this bill within the next 2 to 3 weeks. It is the hope of the developers and the Navajo legislator who has sponsored this bill that they will be able to get a 2/3 majority and override a presidential veto, because the president of the Navajo Nation has declared himself against this project.
So this thing is very much in flux, is it not?
Absolutely.
Last thing, this is obviously the photographs are remarkable. The experience must have been really, really special. Going through all this, have you changed?
You know, it's a great question, and I guess I have, because I was a boatman and a river guide, and I knew the canyon. I viewed it, I understood it through the prism of the Colorado River. And what I did not understand is that the purest and most undiluted wilderness inside of the Grand Canyon extends beyond the river. And so this journey has opened up a whole new world within the Grand Canyon to me, a world that I did not know about, and a world that that has moved me at a very deep level and convinced me that it is essential for us as a society to uphold our covenant via the National Park System and protect these spaces for the enjoyment of future Americans. Future generations of Americans.
Well, it's an amazing story. It's not finished yet, because you're not finished yet hiking through the canyon, but remarkable stuff here. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.